on the 7th of October, a couple days ago now, I took some time out of my day to go and see Joker. Oh god, I've got a little thing trapped there. You know when you get like a knot in your throat? It's like a burp, but not. Fuck it. Let's just forget about that. So a couple days ago, I went to see Joker, and I thought that it would be worth a little bit of a talk over here for you patrons, especially. Obviously, the first few minutes of this will be thrown up as well, not obviously, because I've never done this before, but the first few minutes of this will be thrown up on youtube.com/fishy2 as a little preview. But essentially, I went and saw this film, and I thought I'd give my thoughts on it, because it's a very thought-provoking film, and I've not really sat down and spoken about it with anybody. I've sort of kept it to myself, which is kind of weird. I mean, after I went to the film, I met up with my mate, and we had a little conversation about general things. It's how was the film? It was all right. That was all that was said there, you know what I'm saying? But the Joker is the kind of film that you go into, you watch it, and then at the end you really feel the urge to talk to somebody about it in some capacity. And I've kind of refrained from doing that for some reason. And I think it's a really damn good movie, and I just want to talk about it with somebody. So it might as well just be everybody over here on Patreon, and that would be fantastic. So essentially, let's rewind to before the film even it came out in cinemas and things like that. The first trailer, I watched it and I looked at it and thought, this looks awfully bleak. The kind of film that I wouldn't necessarily be interested in. It looks like maybe a bit too depressing for my taste, but the film proved me wrong, and you're allowed to be wrong sometimes, and I'm wrong more often than I care to admit. And this was one such occasion where it didn't look like it really appealed to me to begin with, but after watching it, I was really happy with what I watched. So the Joker is the kind of film that encourages a lot of thought in your mind, so as opposed to thought in your toes. What? So it's a film that encourages thought. It's supposed to be a society analysis, I guess, but primarily it's an origin story for the Joker. It's supposed to be about that. It does kind of work, I think, probably best as a standalone, so I don't think they necessarily need to do a sequel with regards to Batman and things, but we'll get onto more of that later on in this podcast thing, if that's what you can call it, which I most certainly do not. I call it a shit chat. Yeah, that's what I call it. Anyways, what I like about this film is it's sort of superhero universe based, but you wouldn't know going in if you didn't have any idea who the Joker was and the importance of that character as a villain to Batman. So when going in, I completely put that from my mind and watched it just as a standalone film, which is how I think it functions best, as I just stated. And the first thing that I took note of when I was watching this film was just how well acted and how well everything seemed to work. It was a well-structured, acted, and well-delivered piece of art, essentially, and that's the best way to describe it. It's just an art piece film. It's not a spectacle film. You don't go in there and expect to see explosions, superheroes kicking the shit out of everybody, and things like that, because there's none of that. It's simply a psychological, above all else, sort of film.